Welcome to Fluency Strategies, the high school edition. This is a digital boom card deck that is intended to be used with older students during speech therapy who are working on fluency. So it was intended for high schoolers, but it can be used also with middle schoolers or your elementary age students who are able to read and write fairly independently. So this page will present you with 5 different fluency strategies we can be practicing during the session. Let's go ahead and look at slowed rate to start. So this is the framework of every single page. We have the navigation bar up at the top. This will take you back, this will take you forward, and this will take you back to the choice page. And this will take you back to the very beginning in case you want to go back there. So here we have the page. In this section, this row, we have a way to mark the level that your student had success at or that they completed. Here they're going to be rating themselves on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being perfect, 1 being incorrect. You'll notice in the boxes we have pictures of kids with different emotions, and then we have a number rated scale instead of using incorrect or correct. So it gives them a little bit more flexibility when they're describing their own speech. Here we have a self-reflection. This is going to be for how they felt they did based on this task at the top. And they can talk about why they gave themselves the number that they did, or they can talk about at what level did they notice themselves having disfluency. And they can also use this as a way to plan for the next task. What did they learn this time? What are they going to do next time based on their success or their lack of success? Okay, so since this is a resource for older students, I have not written anything in this box because I want this to be very personalized to your students. And older students are going to be very capable of coming up with their own sentences and phrases and words and stories. And you're really going to get the most out of this by having them come up with it themselves. So if you really would like to have something, I might plan ahead and have a word list that you like to pair with the certain fluency strategy you're doing, or maybe you have some conversation starters, you have them talk for like 1 minute, and you can record them when you're doing that and have them play back the recording, or just as you're listening, you can listen for the word that they become disfluent on. And once you find that word, then you're going to put it in this box. So hopefully that makes sense on how you get the target word here. So once you have the target word, let's say for example it's the word phone, okay? So phone is at the word level, and what I like to do is before we target these and rate ourselves, right, I'd like to have them written out ahead of time so my student has something to read. Now if you're using this for teletherapy, you can have your student take control of the screen and access the keyboard, or you can have them verbalize the sentences and you can kind of take, notes for them. You write it in. So we'll have phone as the word level, phrase level, let's say my sister's phone. And sentence level, we can say, yesterday, my sister's phone broke. To make it a story, it's probably just going to be a little bit longer of a sentence, but you could make it a story. We can say yesterday, my sister's phone broke when she dropped it. Maybe you can go on as to like what caused her to drop it. But as we have right here, we have a word level, phrase level, sentence level, and then a little story level, okay? So you would just scroll through and have your student read these, and once again I would probably have them be recorded, and you can easily pull up a recording app in another tab and then play it back and at the portion where they're rating themselves, okay? Which is a really good tool for students who are not quite aware yet of their disfluency, or maybe they can't catch it in the moment. It's good to have a recording. So here we're going to mark each level completed. Now this is up to you. It can just be that they completed it, or they can use it as like, oh, at this level, that's where I was disfluent. Or at this level, that was where I was the best at, right? So once again, it's very flexible and personalized to your students. So you just want to establish ahead of time, maybe even with your student, okay, what are we going to use these stars for? What are they marking? But for this case, let's just say we completed up until this point, and the story level we didn't get to, because my student had the most success here, but then at the story level, they started using a faster rate, so they didn't have much success. But on all three of these, they did really well, so they gave themselves this rating, which is going to be marked as correct. So these greens are going to be correct, and then anything 3 and below is going to be marked as incorrect. So for self-reflection, we might say slowed rate was helpful for me. However, I noticed at the story level, I became a bit rushed and disfluent. And then you can talk about, what are you going to do next time? So for the next card, you would simply hit this arrow here, and it's going to give you a brand new page to work on slowed rate. It'll give you 10 cards that you can go through before it will take you back to this page.